Hi guys, so today your worksheet is going to be these 4 problems. I'm going to give you guys an example on how to do them, and then I'll get you started on the first one to help you get going. So what we're looking at is similar to what we looked at for Monday's assignment, which is corresponding angles and sides of triangles, and looking at which angles are congruent, which sides are congruent. So for the problems that you're going to be doing, they're going to be 2 parts. You're going to have to solve 2 equations, but before you can solve the equations, you're going to need to set up the equations. So what I want to start off with is, it says to find m. So we're just going to start with wherever we see m. So m is part of the expression 7m plus 10, which is referring to this line segment, AZ or ZA. You can call it either one. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look here and see what AZ corresponds to in the other triangle. So it's the second letter and the last letter. So we're going to go here, second letter, last letter. YZ corresponds to AZ. That means YZ. And when you look at it, it looks right. It looks like those 2 would be in corresponding positions. So what this is saying is, because the triangles are congruent, their corresponding sides are also congruent. So that means I'm allowed to say 7m plus 10 equals 38, because remember, congruent is the word that we use when we're describing that 2 shapes are the same size, but once we start using numbers, then we're going to say they're equal to each other. So now we're just going to solve the equation just like we normally would. So I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides, and I get 7m equals 28. Divide by 7, and I get m equals 4. So that's it for part A, m equals 4. Move that up a little bit. All right, so next I'm going to find k. So I look for where there's a k, and I've got 2 of them, 4k and 2k plus 16. Now those look like they're in corresponding positions, but let's just double check. So I'm going to start with 2k plus 16, and that's referring to the segment AB, which is the middle and the first letter. So now let's double check. YX, yep, those match up. So that means I'm allowed to create another equation that says 4k equals 2k plus 16. And again, we're just going to solve the equation like we normally would. So I'm going to try to get the k's together. So I'm going to subtract 2k. And I don't want to subtract 4k, because if I do that, I'm left with nothing on the left side. So we want to make sure we have something on both sides. So that becomes 2k equals 16, divide by 2, k equals 8. All right, so that's an example. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the problems on the worksheet. So really what you want to do is you always just kind of want to start off by looking at what parts are corresponding and looking at how you're going to set up the equation. So I noticed right away that I've got a y and I've got an x. So I can see this expression has a y, this expression has an x. So I'm going to start off with y, and just like I did before, I'm going to highlight the side that has the y in it. So that's going to be 7y plus 11. But now what I need to do is I need to figure out what side corresponds to it. So 7y plus 11 is going to be mn. Mn should correspond with pn. So these 2 are going to go together. So to set up the equation for finding y, I'm going to say 7y plus 11 equals 39. Now I'm not going to solve that one because I want you guys to do that for your assignment, but let's set up the equation for x just so that we know how to get started on these. So x is right here, and I see that that's PQ. So I'm going to look, all right, PQ, that's the first and the last. I'm thinking it should correspond to this one here, but let's double check. MQ. Yep, those 2 correspond, so then we're just going to say negative 3x plus 9 equals 21. And again, you still need to solve. So on your own paper, you're going to solve both of those. As always, reach out to us if you have any questions. The other 3 problems are pretty much going to be exactly the same. You're just setting up equations. The only one that I want to point out is number 3. Just a quick comment on number 3. Number 3 is the only one that has an angle. So I just want to highlight that for you, that those 2 labels are angles. So we're talking about angle K and angle I when you go to solve that one. Okay, so that is it for today. As always, do your work on a separate sheet of paper and you can submit it to me and Miss Edson via Google Classroom. We'll see you guys later.